Imagine this. It's a cool evening in Buenos Aires, May 1960.
Right.
A man looks pretty ordinary. Name's Ricardo Clement. He steps off a bus, starts his usual walk home.
Just like any other day.
Exactly. Blends right in, you know? Just another worker heading back. But then, as he gets near his house, shadows move. 3 men. They emerge, moving fast, very precise. And in just seconds, Clement is grabbed, silenced, bundled into a waiting car. Gone.
Wow. Just like that.
And the shocking reality, the thing that just stunned the world was this. Ricardo Clement wasn't Ricardo Clement at all. He was Adolf Eichmann.
The Adolf Eichmann.
One of the actual masterminds behind the Holocaust. A man who'd been a ghost for, what, over a decade?
That's right. Vanished after the war.
So today in this deep dive, we're going to unpack this incredible story. I mean, it's almost unbelievable how Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, tracked him down.
And captured him.
Yes, captured him in this operation. It didn't just bring a notorious war criminal to justice. It sort of redefined the whole pursuit of it. We've got all these sources you provided, and we're going to pull out the key details, really understand this high-stakes mission.
Sounds good. Quite a story.
Okay, so to really get the weight of this capture, we need to understand the man. Who was Adolf Eichmann, this Ricardo Clement? Why was catching him so critical?
Well, what's really key, and you see this in the sources, is that Eichmann wasn't just some low-level guy just following orders blindly. Not exactly. He was a high-ranking SS officer.
Right, the SS. Not just anyone.
No. And his specific role, he was the architect of the logistics of the Holocaust. Think about that.
Logistics, meaning?
Meaning the meticulous, almost industrial-scale organization, transporting millions of Jewish people across Europe to the camps, coordinating all the different ministries, managing the paperwork, the schedules, the sheer administrative machinery of mass murder.
Chillin'.
It is. And his bureaucratic efficiency, this sort of ruthless dedication to the task itself, that's what earned him that terrible moniker, the architect of the Holocaust.
The architect. It sounds so detached, almost like he saw it as just a job, a problem to be solved efficiently. Did the sources suggest he felt any, I don't know, personal responsibility, or was it truly just following orders?
From what we've reviewed, he really seemed to embody what Hannah Arendt later called the banality of evil. You know, this idea that terrible things can be done by ordinary people just focusing on their tasks.
Doing their job.
Exactly. Focused on efficiency, the process, perhaps not the monstrous ideology in the same way as some others. Capturing him was crucial because he symbolized that cold, calculating aspect of the genocide. He was this tangible figurehead for the accountability that was so desperately needed.
Okay, so after World War II ends, the world is trying to process these horrors. How does a figure this significant vanish? And maybe even stranger, where did he go? How did he hide for so long?
Well, as the Allied forces were closing in on Germany, Eichmann basically disappeared. He was apparently quite skilled at deception, used false IDs.
Right.
And like quite a few other high-ranking Nazis, he eventually found refuge in Argentina.
Argentina. I've heard that mentioned before in this context.
Yes, the sources highlight that at that time, it unfortunately became known as a kind of safe haven for war criminals. And there, he lived this surprisingly, well, modest life under the alias Ricardo Clement.
Not living large, then.
Not at all. Working at a Mercedes-Benz factory, living in a quiet Buenos Aires suburb with his wife and kids, just blending in, trying to seem completely unremarkable. For a man responsible for such utter devastation, his life looked mundane.
So this architect just melts away for years, decades even. Everyone assumes he's maybe dead or just gone forever. What was the thread? What finally led Mossad to his door? It seems so improbable.
And it really does. And the breakthrough, it came from the most unexpected place imaginable. It's almost, well, it's deeply personal. It came via his own son.
His son. Seriously.
Yes, his son, Klaus Eichmann. Klaus was living there too, under the family alias, of course.
Yeah.
And he started dating a young woman named Sylvia Hermann.
Okay.
Now, here's the twist. Sylvia's father, Lothar Hermann, was a German Jew, a Holocaust survivor, blind actually, who had moved to Argentina.
Oh, wow.
And Lothar started getting suspicious because Klaus, maybe trying to impress Sylvia or just being careless, began boasting about his father's Nazi past, his important role.
No, you can't make this stuff up.
You really can't. Lothar, who had lost so much himself, started digging into this. He put pieces together, and he passed his suspicions, his findings, onto the German authorities.
And they listened.
They did. And they, in turn, passed that critical tip along to Mossad around 1957. It was just this astonishing chain of events, starting with a teenage relationship and a father's terrible memories and suspicions.
That's unbelievable. A mission this huge, targeting one of the world's most wanted men, basically kicked off by, yeah, romance and a father's gut feeling. So Mossad gets this tip. It checks out. How do they even start planning something so audacious? I mean, snatching someone secretly from another country?
This was Operation Finale. And yeah, it absolutely reads like a spy novel. Top Mossad operatives, including the famous Adolf Eichmann, flew into Argentina, all under false identities, of course.
Undercover?
Completely. And they didn't rush it. That's key. The sources emphasize the meticulous surveillance. They watched Eichmann for weeks.
Weeks. Just watching.
Weeks. Mapping out his daily routine, every little detail, his bus schedule, the route he walked home when he was alone, when he was most vulnerable. One source noted how incredibly predictable, how mundane his routine had become.
Yeah.
That actually helped them.
That predictability became his weakness. Did the sources mention what kind of training they had or contingencies? What if something went wrong?
The training was rigorous, focused on discipline, timing, silence. The capture itself, May 11th, 1960, shows that. As Eichmann walked home, same time, same route, the team moved.
The moment of truth.
Exactly. A perfectly timed ambush. 3 agents grabbed him. One clamped a hand over his mouth, no sound. In seconds, he was in the car and they were gone. Swift, silent, clinical, zero room for error.
Okay, they have him. But now, the huge problem, getting him out of Argentina, you said it was a haven known for not extraditing war criminals. How did they possibly manage that?
Right. That was maybe the biggest challenge. They held him in a safe house for about 9 days. They interrogated him, confirmed his identity beyond any doubt. They even checked for specific scars.
Making absolutely sure.
Absolutely. They knew formal extradition was impossible. We get blocked, drag on, maybe lead to exposure, maybe even a rescue attempt by Nazi sympathizers still around.
So what was the plan?
Ingenious. And incredibly bold. They drugged him heavily, dressed him up in an Israeli airline uniform.
Disguised him as flight crew.
Exactly. As an ill crew member needing medical attention back home. And they put him on an El Al plane, not just any flight. This was the plane carrying Israel's official delegation back from Argentina's independence celebrations.
You're kidding. They smuggled him out on an official flight.
Right under the noses of Argentinian authorities. Drugged, disguised, flown straight to Tel Aviv. An absolutely audacious move.
Wow. So Eichmann lands in Israel. After all those years hidden away, what happened next? What was the global reaction and the trial?
Well, the world basically exploded. May 23, 1960, Israel's Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, stood up in the Knesset, the parliament, and announced Eichmann's capture to the world.
I can only imagine the shockwaves.
Huge. It captivated everyone. Finally, a measure of justice many thought they'd never see. Now, the sources do note there was some diplomatic fallout, questions about operating secretly in another sovereign nation, even for someone like Eichmann.
Sure, the legality of the capture itself.
Right. But the trial went ahead in Jerusalem in 1961, and it was a landmark event.
Yeah.
Broadcast internationally, it brought the horrifying reality of the Holocaust, the bureaucracy of it, into living rooms everywhere.
And his defense.
His defense became notorious. Basically, I was just following orders. Buffet is Biville. But it completely fell flat in court.
How could it not?
Exactly. For months, you had Holocaust survivors giving just harrowing, powerful testimony, plus mountains of documents detailing his specific actions, his directives, his role in the deportations. The evidence was overwhelming.
And the verdict?
Guilty. Guilty of crimes against humanity, war crimes, crimes against the Jewish people. The sentence was death.
Death.
Yes. On June 1st, 1962, Adolf Eichmann was executed by hanging. And it's a significant point. Noted in our sources, he remains the only person ever officially executed by the State of Israel.
Yeah.
That really underscores the exceptional nature of his crimes in this whole affair.
Looking back on it all now, decades later, what's the real lasting significance? Beyond bringing one man to justice, what did the capture and trial of Eichmann truly mean?
Oh, it was much more than just catching one fugitive. It really was a defining moment, I think, for international justice. It set this incredibly powerful precedent for accountability.
How so?
It proved that even those who orchestrate mass murder from behind a desk, who manage the logistics of atrocity, they can't just hide forever. That justice has a long reach, even across continents and decades. It sent a message.
That responsibility doesn't just vanish with time.
Precisely. And the operation itself, Operation Finale, it's still studied today as one of the most daring, most meticulously executed intelligence operations ever. It's this potent testament to, well, determination. The unwavering will to bring perpetrators of extreme crimes to justice no matter how long it takes.
It's an absolutely gripping story, a stark reminder, really, that even the most careful attempts to disappear into history, to escape the consequences, can be undone by that relentless pursuit of truth and justice.
It really is. And maybe it leaves us, and you listening, with a question to think about. What does the success of Operation Finale, triggered by such personal, almost accidental threads, tell us about the nature of justice itself? How sometimes these vast historical reckonings hinge on the smallest, most human details.